name is Heather Davis. What I think sets apart great teachers from good teachers is their ability to approach things differently in the classroom. I think Ranger Nick's presentation slash TED Talk did a great job of explaining what these teachers do. Great teachers celebrate mistakes. They view these mistakes as learning opportunities and teachable moments. Great teachers also appreciate differences, and these differences could relate to their cultural backgrounds or just their diverse learning levels. Great teachers also relay effective feedback. This could be immediate feedback, or even in the given example in his TED Talk presentation about the little owl stamps that he would give. And these owl stamps would make students' work feel noticed and appreciated, and motivated to do better on the next assignment. Lastly, great teachers also evaluate themselves as well as the environment around them. They're able to look at a classroom and see if students are disengaged or not. And if they are not engaged, they are able to change that approach up and maybe do a different instructional approach. I still remember my 6th grade math teacher, Miss Johnson. She, I believe, completely changed my viewpoint about my struggles with math. She would always say, the brain is like a muscle. The brain is like a muscle. You have to practice for it to get better. It's not immediately. When you go to the gym, you do not get results right away. And just her wording around my mistakes made me feel less discouraged. She never made me feel shamed. And what I mean by shamed is that she used a neutral tone. She didn't make me feel bad for making a mistake. And I'm very grateful for having her in my educational journey. Now on to the second question. I think that teachers need to understand that students don't care about how much you know about a certain subject until they understand and feel how much you care about them. These teachers connect, entertain, and engage these students while they are presenting their knowledge. These students need to feel safe and wanted and heard. Educating students is much more than just explaining a certain concept or skill to students. When students feel supported in their learning, it's much more likely that they're able to stay engaged and focused within the lesson. Question 3. I think that teachers can help inspire disengaged learners by offering multiple approaches or activities within a given lesson instead of sticking to just one activity. If something is not working, these teachers need to be able to read a room and adapt accordingly. I understand this is something that this is a skill that teachers acquire within their experience, but it's definitely something to practice, especially for newer teachers or pre-service teachers like myself. I also think that when teachers give students a choice in how they demonstrate their learning, they can feel more motivated to take advantage, or not, they can feel more motivated to take control of their own learning. I believe this aligns with the cognitive science principle of retrieval. I think the act of choosing their own end product as well as potentially the product of a given assignment can help them recall and apply knowledge in different contexts, whether that be in a project or an assignment or a video, just things like that. It's true that some students benefit better from a more visual, hands-on approach, where other students will be able to succeed more while using a written-based assignment or a verbal-based assignment. I believe this specific example can relate to the dual coding theory by understanding that students have strengths in different areas. Now on to question 4. One thing I think that teachers can do to help create a more comfortable learning environment is being mindful of the type of language they use when they approach a mistake. When an error happens, the teacher can reframe that as a teachable moment instead of just focusing on the mistake itself. They could in doing this can help the students realize that these are opportunities for growth, not something to be afraid of or to be hesitant of. I think the teacher can also explain that the brain is like a muscle. The brain is not a muscle, but it is like a muscle. When you go to the gym, you do not get immediate results. You have to keep going. Do different exercises, sometimes the same exercises, to really get that muscle concreted on there. The one last thing I think that teachers can do is utilize the concept of yet. I know this comes from Carol, I think Gilligan is her last name. I might be wrong, but I know it's from her growth mindset in a classroom. But if a student is frustrated and is saying, I don't understand these fractions, I don't understand this long division, you can approach that by saying, you don't understand this yet, but it will take time and practice for you to be able to complete this skill, but you will be able to do this. Question 5. Students come from all different kinds of cultural backgrounds, but they also come together with different learning abilities. I believe that both of these factors can help when utilized correctly, both of these factors can help create a more inclusive environment. When these teachers appreciate these differences, they can create a foundation of respect where students appreciate their uniqueness. I think it's really important to establish the idea that different is not inherently bad. We don't need to go around and we do not need to go around as teachers trying to push away the idea that we're not different, because we are different in a way, and that is okay. If everyone thought the same, I believe the world would be a very boring place. And our differences can give each other different perspectives that we might have not thought about otherwise. Sorry, I got cold. Question 6. I think that teachers can adapt their instructional strategies that meet the needs of their diverse learners by making sure that they remove any potential barriers within a given lesson. I think that implementing a universal design for learning framework can help achieve this. It's important to give students multiple means of engagement. I think this can be seen in letting students choose their own topics as well as potentially a project of an assignment. Another principle of I'm just going to shorten it down, the UDL framework can be seen in giving the students multiple means of representation. I think that when you provide these students different options to receive this knowledge, like videos, images, or technological platforms, it can really help these students receive the information in a format that really suits how their brain works. I know me personally, I am taking an environmental science class, and we were given a simulation of how radiation is reflected onto Earth and back into space. And the simulation itself really helped cement the idea of how it all works, because I remember when I was reading the information, it was not clicking inside my head, but as soon as I saw that visual representation of it, I was like, oh, this makes so much sense, and it really did, and I ended up making an 80 on that test. Yes. I'm trying to think. Graphic organizers are also a really good strategy to help students process information and retain information within a lesson. This can help reduce their working memory as well as their cognitive load. Question 7. I think that small gestures of recognition, despite them being small, can still have a big impact. I still remember how excited I was personally in elementary school when I got to receive a stamp or a sticker on my assignment. They made me feel more motivated, and they made me want to continue putting in the same effort, if not more effort, into my future assignments. The act of these stickers and stamps also boosted my self-esteem, and it made my effort feel noticed. It feels good to feel noticed, like, in general, but I do believe that the same could be said for other students just besides myself. When students know and feel that their effort is being noticed, they're more likely to continue putting in that same effort, if not more, like I said earlier, to their future assignments. These students remember how a teacher made them feel, and it is not something that these students forget easily. Yay, last question. I think that one of my key takeaways from the reading this week has to revolve around how important writing is, especially before a discussion, whether that be a verbal, turn and talk, cold call, anything like that. It can give these students more time to think about what they're going to say, and in doing this, their responses can be more thought out and thoughtful. Another key takeaway from this reading is that having routines and cues for participation can really help these students focus on their learning rather than wondering what they are to do. As teachers, we must model what this looks like. We cannot just expect these students to automatically know what to do. That is just going to be pure chaos. But thank you.